We got a 2004 Hyundai Santa Fe. It's with the 2.4 liter. So this came in, had a bad crank sensor, they thought, and I believe it was a bad crank sensor. And they've replaced the bad crank sensor, and now they're still having the same issue. So what you can do is you can unplug this link here. This is your crank sensor. This is the new one they put in. Unplug this pigtail, put it into a triangle position as you're looking at it. The top is ground. The bottom left is positive. The bottom right is your signal wire. So if you want to test it, put a voltmeter on it and go ground to your top and to your left positive. With key on, you should read your battery voltage, 12 volts, 11.8, whatever you have. And then you go, if you do, then you go ground and the bottom right one of the triangle looking at you. Again, that's on the car side with key on. You should read about 6.5 volts. If you have that, then test the two bottom ones. Ignore your ground, test the two bottom ones, and you can put the polarity either way when you test this. And you want to read at least a 5 volt reference on that. So if you have that, then your signal going to the crank sensor with key on is good. And the signal returning. Well, you hope it's returning. If not, then change your crank sensor. Now, they did all that, and the crank sensor I think was bad, so they replaced the crank sensor, but now you're still not getting no spark or no fuel. Crank sensor can command both of those. Well, in this case, it's actually a fix that was made by a mistake. So if you look, this teeth tone here, this gear, this reads the crank signal as it rotates around. Here's your crank sensor. That cord is like 2 foot long. It's in backwards. So if you look right here, this groove, this teeth should slide into as it goes around. But clearly it's not going to be able to. It's too far back. I think you can get an idea of that with the picture there. See where this is flat and this is flat? It's actually riding behind it. It should ride into this groove. Let me get a screwdriver to show you better because this is like a two-dimensional picture. So here's where the groove is, but here's where the metal is. Groove, metal. So that needs to ride in there. These two bolts need taken out and flipped around and put it back in. Now, I'm not going to do that because there's a good chance that this hit the back of that crank sensor and could have damaged it. And this is a lot of work to put all this together and find out it's bad. So we went ahead and grabbed another crank sensor and we're going to throw that in. There's no reason to take a chance with that, again, with all this work of pulling this off. They did make it easier on the Hyundai Santa Fe because you have these 4 12mm bolts to pull the crank pulley off. You don't actually have to take this bolt off, so that makes it nice. So I hope this video helps you out. Please click like, please click subscribe, click on my name underneath this video for all my other how-to videos, and as always, guys, enjoy.